Hello. So I just wanted to speak a little bit about fear and anxiety. There's a lot of it about. We are designed as human beings to err on the side of caution. So positively going into the world saying, out on the savannah saying, oh, I'm sure there's not going to be a lion today, I'm sure there's not going to be a lion today, is going to get you into a whole heap of trouble. So the mind has been biologically programmed to be cautious. So there's nothing wrong with that, it's to keep us alive. So anxiety, a level of anxiety is really normal. Some of us know that we get overly anxious. And one of the issues that can come up with this is that we know we're being anxious. There is the thing, there is the thought that's making us anxious. And then there's our anxiety around our anxiety. And in Buddhism, this is called the second arrow. So you've got the first arrow, which is whatever's making you anxious. And then there's worrying about your anxiety. So even spotting that you're worrying about your anxiety is great. It's a really great place to start. Can we take the pressure off ourselves a little bit to be perfectly able to adapt to every circumstance that life throws up at us? Can we stop comparing ourselves to other people who seemingly have got it together? Because believe you me, they haven't. If this has shown us anything, it's that. No country that says, you know, how brilliant and prepared I am. No, nobody's got it sorted. Nobody knows. Nobody's got it organised. Nobody knows for sure. Everybody's doing their best, regardless of what you may think about it. Everybody is, depending on their background and their upbringing and their circumstances and what they've been conditioned to believe since they were knee-high to a grasshopper, as we all have. Dependent on all of those things, people genuinely think they're doing the right thing, whether you believe it's misguided or not. So if we can kind of find out, sometimes it's really difficult because some people just seem as though they're real fucking prats. But if we can find our way backwards and get to the point where we can have some empathy for the fact that maybe we've also been a bit of a fucking prat in the past. And if we have been, it's normally motivated because we're trying to navigate our way through the world in the best way that we know how. Sometimes we make mistakes. So there's a lot of fear around at the moment as well. Fear is okay. It's a scary time. Rather than thinking that we should buck ourselves up and, oh well, only think positive, can we instead just allow ourselves to be a bit scared from time to time? But rather than being scared of the story that fear is telling us, can we instead drop into the feeling of fear? The story of fear, wow. I mean, the story of fear is endless at the moment, isn't it? I'm not immune, you know. My head, if it chooses to, my head can go into, because I run a travel business, so, you know, as far as I can see, at least for the next 6 weeks, nothing's happening. And possibly beyond, but I don't know that, the possibly beyond bit. So all that I can do is take measures for the next few weeks, and there's not even much that I can do about that. But the story, if I were to give it energy, the story will go on about how this is going to impact everything, blah, 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 and I can really catastrophise going into the future about it. What's the point? Because I don't know. It is a story. Everybody we meet at the moment has got a story about what's happening. And everybody's making it up. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's how we cope as human beings. It's how we try and assimilate the world. It's how we try and make sense of things, is that we make stories about them. But sometimes that can be really disruptive to us, and it can be really harmful to us if it creates greater anxiety and fear. So if we do get gripped in a story, which we will, maybe we can just notice where we feel our anxiety, where we feel our fear. So for me, generally, it's in my belly. And then if we can just be still, just stop what we're doing for a moment. I had to do this morning, and just kind of sit and go, right, this is fear, or this is anxiety, or this is panic, or this is overwhelm. Okay. And just take a moment and see if you can feel how your body's feeling, because generally speaking, somewhere in your body, something is holding on is really tight. And it might be a muscular tension, or it might be a holding on to one particular thought tension, or it might be a gripping your belly, it might be clenching your jaw, furrowing your forehead, clenching hands. It might not be that physical. But there's nothing wrong with any of those things either. It's not that we're supposed to be all completely floppy the whole time, but if we notice that we're holding on, that we're clenching, that we're clinging to something, just noticing that that's happening is a great place to start. We don't have to actively do something about it. Everything is done the moment that we become aware. Everything that needs to be done has been done the moment that we become aware. You're just going to have to trust me on that. By being consciously aware of what's happening for us and to us, it's like we put a roadblock in what can be a spiral of negative thinking or anxiety or fear. So just coming to the body. And for so many people, this is profoundly dull. Because we're like a really, especially with meditation practice, it's like, oh, but surely everything's going to be fixed and I should be on a purple cloud and floating for the rest of our life. And it doesn't work like that. It's pretty ordinary. Life is pretty ordinary moment to moment. But there is a splendour in that. We'll talk about that another day. But for now, can we just, if we feel overwhelmed by an emotion, can we just drop into the body and just allow the body room, space to feel what it wants to feel? We are so used to going, nope, can't deal with that now. Nope, can't deal with that now. I've got work to do. I've got people to attend to. I've got to cook. I've got to whatever it is. Nope, don't want to look at that now. And all that happens is this stuff gets pushed down and down and down. And now is not the time for that. Now is the time to allow all of those bubbles of stuff that have been percolating for a long, 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 long time. Because when you have a little bit of anxiety or fear now, it's not just the fear of this current thing. It's also there's little bits of old shit tacked onto it. So if you can sit just and allow the fear or the anxiety or the overwhelm just to be here, just even for a moment, you start to dissolve that old crap too. It starts to dissolve. It's really worth doing. The other thing that we come to realise is how much energy it takes to hold on to the old crap. We don't realise we're doing it because we've become so used to doing it. But just turning our attention to the body, how we feel in this very moment. And if that feels too much, because we always put ourselves on the top of the pile, we're always looking after ourselves, making sure that we're in charge. If that feels too much, tune into the sounds that you can hear. Tune into your feet. Tune into something that is as far away from your head as possible, because the head's the thing that gives us the aggro. So tune into your feet. Have a little feel of the sensation between your, for me at the moment, foot, sock, slipper, floor. Tune into the sounds that you can hear. See how many different sounds that you can hear in any one moment. And that has the same sort of effect. It can just be a roadblock if we're becoming overwhelmed or anxious or what have you. So that's me for the moment. Take care.